We're going to get this meeting started. To give you all a heads up, the Salvation Army Camp has made a request to have an open hearing on the possible withdrawing the maintenance or closure, however y'all want to specify it, for Grandview Road. By doing that, then it's important that we have the open meetings to go along with that, where we can hear from all the community. Now, I'd appreciate if we just keep it to 2 minutes if y'all can, depending on how many is going to speak. So at this time, since y'all made the request to have this meeting, I'm going to turn it over to y'all.
Right here, okay? Or
That'd be fine.
my name is Matt Traylor. I am the camp director at the Salvation Army Camp Grandview. Camp Grandview, just so you understand what Camp Grandview is, the Salvation Army purchased the property back in 1948, and for 70 years, young people and adults have attended Camp Grandview throughout the summer, throughout the year. Here's some now. Where's your counselor? Where's your counselor? The purpose of Camp Grandview is to give disadvantaged youth from all over the state, from rural areas, urban areas, a chance to come out and experience the beauty of the area. We all live around that area and we love it. And so it's a chance to give young people who wouldn't get a chance to come out and experience it. We have young people who come from downtown Atlanta, from rural South Georgia and Bainbridge. Most of these young people come from dysfunctional homes. They're wards of the state. Not all of them, but some of them, and they come from very difficult home lives. Camp Grandview impacts the lives of these young people for 70 years. And we have seen, I have seen, I wish everybody could see the impact Camp Grandview makes, because we've seen intergenerational poverty, we've seen drug abuse, sex abuse, the powers of all those things be broken in a generation of a family, because a kid has their life was impacted at Camp Grandview. During the summer, we can have 200 to 300 kids a week coming to camp. And as you know, as of over those 70 years, Camp Grandview has grown, where we encompass both sides of this section, 1,750 feet roughly, approximately. Please forgive my inexact math, but about 1,700 feet of Old Grandview Road, we encompass both sides. This section is the portion we are requesting to be closed. There's two main reasons, safety reasons, that we have for years we have battled, and it's come to this point where we really feel like the only options we have now is closing this section. The first safety reason is speeders. We have people who fly up and down this road. This past summer, we had several near misses where we were unloading kids on this side. Here's our parking lot. I know you can't see it all the way over there, but our parking lot's here, and we take kids across the street on a people-moving trailer to their cabins so that we don't have buses going through camp as kids are walking around, going to activities. We've had several near misses of speeders flying up the road. If you are familiar with this portion, it's a slight incline, and it crests right about here. Terrible blind spot. I had pictures to show. I was going to show you, there's a blind spot where if you come out of our property, you can't see who's coming over. As people who are entrusted with the care of young people, vulnerable young people, we are now their advocates. It is our job to protect these kids. It's a struggle. Like this past summer, our caretaker, Dave Reynolds, as you know, lives on property. He was the one driving, getting these kids across the street, and we were having to yell at a driver who was flying up the road, going at least 50 to 60 miles an hour, weekly. It's not just drivers that we also have to deal with. There are four-wheelers, which are great. We drive along that road. Even we know how dangerous that can be. Our staff, my staff, know it can be dangerous pulling out and getting across the street from one side of camp to the other. We have people, you guys, who walk up and down this road. I can't imagine coming up over a curve and seeing somebody who's walking the road with their dog and not knowing, and you can't see them, and getting hit. I can't imagine a car hitting a group of campers who are on their trailer with their luggage going to their cabin and someone plowing right into them. That's one of our major concerns. The other concern is access. We can't control who comes onto our property, and it's easy. And we've had instances of parents who don't have custody of their children, or people coming onto our property because this road being open, being a public road, this section gives them free access to anywhere. It's very difficult for us to protect the kids, because we have kids that will go across down to our pond to fish, to boat. They'll come back over to swim at the pond. Going across this road daily, the day it may happen that when we're Kids are walking across the street that somebody could easily drive along, snatch a kid in. Access is the major issue. We don't know, we can't control. 2 summers ago, we had a person come onto our property, drive into our property, right here. They had a kid in their car before we stopped. Turned out it was a father who did not have legal authority to be with their son. He came up, tried to take them off property. We had to stop it. We also have had 2 summers ago a suspicious car that would, this happened to be at night, 10 p.m. The campers had already gone to their cabins, thankfully, flying through our camp, trying to get down to this end of Lakeshore. A white car, tinted windows. The night before, we had seen them parked down here. So when we saw them again, and they were flying through, and our gate back here is locked. They couldn't get out. They turned around, and as we tried to stop them, they flew back up and out. We called the sheriff's department in both cases, whether it was speeding, just to alert them and say, hey, we're seeing this happen. Ultimately, our goal is to just close this portion right here, this east portion of Old Grandview Road, and put electronic gates, something that's easy for Dave to open when needed. Our goal is not to put up any walls or anything that permanently keeps anybody, our neighbors, from getting in and out and having access. Anybody who lives on this portion of Old Grandview Road, it's not hard to just come up this way and get access. Lower Grandview Road still provides a secondary access to this area. And again, if there's storms, if there's anything that prevents people from using these, we're always open to opening the roads up as needed and allowing people to get through. We're your neighbors, we're your fellow residents, and we would never hamper you guys. So I just thank you for allowing us to just take a moment to express our concern and share with you all why we're requesting this portion of Old Grandview Road to be closed so that we can control access on both sides and hopefully control access to other areas where somebody may mean harm to anybody around us or any of our campers. So thank you.
Thank you. Pardon? We have some seats. We have some seats over here if y'all want to go ahead and move across. Does anybody else want to speak for the Salvation Army? I think you pretty well covered what the intent was. All right. Anybody want to speak for the opposite side? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Nancy Van Sant, and I live on the back side of the lake, and we've been there since 1977. There are about 20 homes behind there, and most of those people live there, and so my concern is that we're limited in access out of the area that we live in. And it sometimes, and especially this year, we've had it where that there are trees down, power lines, things of that sort of down, and we are limited as to which way we go. And in 2 cases, we had to go out over this area. As far as them opening the gate, we've been here, like I said, since '77. And originally, the gate was open so that in bad weather or something like that, we could get in, go through there. But I assume it's something to do with insurance or something. It had to be closed. And as a result of that, on occasions, when the weather was bad and we were trying to get through, we did call to see if somebody would open it, and we couldn't get in touch with people. So I am concerned about something where you have gates up and people cannot get through. As far as the use of the road is being used by people, and I think that's what you're trying to decide. Is it being used by the public? It is. It's being used for walking. It's used by drivers of delivery trucks to deliver things. And I know there was some concern about, I think somebody said something about delivery people going through in their GPS, telling them to go through that, and that was something that was concerning the Salvation Army, and I can see how that would be. But one way to deal with that, if they're having people going in, why not consider something about putting a barrier there? Some camps do that. As far as crossing the street, if you go by there are no painted crosswalks that are there. The signs can be moved further away so that people that are coming will realize that there are kids there. And you can also have it where there's speed bumps. That hasn't been tried. You can have it where things are set up so that people know what the speed is. And as far as somebody coming through speeding, it seems to me that would be something that our public sheriff's department could help us with and addressing that if it seems to be the same person. But I think that whether it's buses or whether it's trucks coming through or whether it's people walking on it, it is being used by the public. And the other thing, in your 2018 and 2028 comprehensive plan for Pickens County, you talk about having roads that connect communities, about having neighborhoods where they can walk in it. We have all that. It is on that road. It's being used. And I understand they're concerned about safety. But as far as the parents coming in, again, my understanding is that if you have private property, you have the right to call the police or someone to remove somebody from it, or you can have various things you can do. I don't know all the things with camps. I do know that U Street camps, they would say safety. So my concern is if we have storms, that we want as many ways out as we can. If the people at the end of Sharp Top and the people at Windy Ridge, if that road's closed, they have one access, out. If you close, if for some reason it's blocked, then they have no way out. And depending on somebody to open a gate, they're not going to always know when to do that. And I think that it's a matter of safety for the people, not just at the Salvation Army, but the people that live around there.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Mark Dickerson. I've lived at Grandview, I guess, since 1980. I'd say three things. One, Salvation Army has been a wonderful neighbor of Grandview Lake and the Grandview Lake Corporation for many, many years. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate what the Army does. I think all of us do. Second, I'm sort of aghast at the concept that because you own two sides of the road, you can all of a sudden decide nobody else can go through there. If I want to go see my friend Bill Miller, are there other ways for me to go around to get there? Sure there are. I just have to drive about a mile further. Do people use the road we're talking about? All of the time. Third thing I'd say is some of the safety problems, talking about kids going down to the pond, etc., are not 80 years old. Those are the result of acquisitions by the Salvation Army on the other side of the road, long after the road was there, long after all of us were using the road. Now, I don't object to them acquiring property on both sides of the road. Historically, only the manager's house was on the other side of the road. But then to say, because we've acquired this property and because we want to put our kids in a position where they have to cross this road, then the rest of you ought to just find other ways to do things. It just seems to me I guess it means I can buy Peggy Petty's property across the road from me on Grandview and then come in here and make a request. I'd be a heck of a lot better off if you'd close Grandview Road for 100 feet right before the dam. My kids could play in the road. I wouldn't have to worry about traffic that races up and down there despite the slow traffic signs. But that doesn't seem to be a reasonable thing for me to do or for you to do. And I just ask that you consider, we're not talking about a little used road or a non-used road. We're not talking about something that's been created by the neighbors. I mean, the Army's acquired property on both sides of the road. That's great. But there are other ways to get kids across the road other than closing the road. They could build a bridge. I don't know what they can do. I'd ask that you say no. Thank you.
All right. Young lady back there in the back.
My name is Myra Douglas, and I've lived in Grandview since 1987. And I just think that's a public road. We all pay property taxes, and part of that goes to the upkeep of that road. I also have a problem. I live, the first house on the left as you turn off Grandview onto Old Grandview. Everyone knows that hill and that curve are almost impassable if it ices or it snows. My husband was from West Virginia, and he wound up in that ditch several times trying to get to our house. So our only way in is to go through Windy Ridge. And, you know, if they close it, who's going to guarantee us that there's going to be someone there to open that gate? We don't know. But I object to it being a public road, and that we've used it all these years. I know where the Salvation Army Camp is, and I try not to access that way unless I have to for some reason. And I also slow down. And I think maybe more signs, more caution, and more counselors. I've worked with children of all economic backgrounds. You cannot bring children from housing projects and let them have free rein to go fishing in a pond and then go back to where they sleep. They might do it, and I hope they do it, but you also need to supervise it. That's a big thing with children I see roaming. But anyway, I just object to it being closed because I've always used it as a public road, and I think most of us are careful about going through there with the Salvation Army Camp. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Pretty much the same issues as everybody else has raised. I'm so thankful for the Salvation Army, and I've even worked as a nurse there, so I understand what y'all are going through there. I just still can't understand why speed bumps or something else can't be put in. I'm one of the ones who walks her dog almost daily there, and I walk there because I can't walk on Grandview Road. This is my cut through to friends when I visit them, or to walk almost daily, and I really think it should be left open.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Ruby. I work at Camp Grandview. I've been there since 2007. Seen a lot of people come and go, officers, campers, staff, you know. But I love working at camp. I've been there, like I said, since 2007, and there's a lot of traffic comes through there. We have a lot of children removed. Sorry. We have a lot of children removed from one side of the road to the other, and it's dangerous. These children, they are supervised. They always have a counselor and a co-counselor. We have a head counselor, male and female head counselor. They're always supervised. People come over the hill past our sign. There used to be a crosswalk there, and the county paved over it. We no longer have our crosswalk. They did away with it. They cross there at the stairs. They go down to the road that comes up, that goes across down to our pond. People fly. They come through there around the curve, coming off Windy Ridge. They get up speed. They go in the opposite direction, come off of Grandview. They get up speed. They're flying through there. And it is a constant daily struggle. And signs, people don't read signs. We have signs, your GPS is wrong. They don't read signs. They don't read speed limit signs. They don't read caution signs. They don't read the school bus stop ahead signs. Signs do no work. They don't work. We don't have police officers come through there and patrol. If we did that, if we had that, maybe it would be better, especially during summer. It doesn't happen. Our only cause, we need the road closed, or we need more patrol during summer camps, during weekend camps, during week camps. We need more attention, and we're not getting it. And so this is what we're trying to do, is get our road closed on both ends, and there's plenty of pass-throughs. They can go any different direction. There's plenty of other ways. We've timed it. You get 1 minute to 3 minutes extended on your travel. That's it. That's it. If we have a gate, Dave's always there. It can open either end if there's a weather issue. There's a solution, and I think the closing of our portion of the road is it.
Thank you. Yes, young man, go ahead and put your hand up.
What I would like to say is, what that sir said over there was, if I wanted to go see my friend, but the road was closed, I'd have to go another mile around. But it all comes down to this. My bad. All right. Would you rather have the safety of young children or the accessibility of being able to go to your friend's house when you can easily do it another way?
Thank you. Anyone else? Please.
Just like 1 minute, would just like to say we understand the concerns that we are hearing, and speeding is part of the issue. The bigger part of the issue for us is just access of people that shouldn't be on the property, and that's really where we're trying to zero in, is the security of the property, and most importantly, the security of the children that are on the property. I totally agree. There are other ways that we can get those kids across there. And we certainly, would look at that even with our own people driving on that road. But it's more so about the security and access of that property and people who shouldn't be on that property. And that's a big concern for us.
Can I ask a question to you?
Yes.
Would we be able to walk through still if you did these gates, or how does that work?
The gates wouldn't block the side, right there where you walk, it's
Just
really
go around.
only vehicles that can just easily drive in. That's our, it's not about closing off and putting up a fence that goes across the whole road where we know people walk, we still have to get easy. Our goal is not to block those type of things for people to be able to walk across. And when you were talking about the gate at the back, that's a whole separate, that's not the gate we're talking about. That gate's been on our back entrance for years. And we do put up blocks at the entrance of our camp. But we still have people that will move those and go right through, but we can't keep those up all the time because we have our work vehicles coming in and out. So limiting public road is where that portion only, not the whole road, just that portion. And again, Dave lives there. Dave is there all the time. It's not hard. If there's a storm, when he's cleaning up, he's out there. We'll have the road open. So, I mean, again, we understand. We're willing to work with any of you guys. Even if it's just a partial close during the summer. We even asked about that. Could we just close the gates just during the summer months when it's our busiest time? Would that be a solution? We were told early on that you probably can't do that. We're willing just to do that, just when it's our busiest time, just to be able to close that road off during the summer months, to keep people from coming through, and open it up the rest of the year. We're open to that.
My name is Bob Parker, and to answer your question, I think it would be very easy for us when we designed the entrance, the gate at both ends of that, to have an opening for walking through. So that the design can be made to accommodate walking the dogs through and those kinds of access. That's easy to do, and because our main concern is the vehicle traffic, not the foot traffic. So I think that's very doable and would be considered part of the design of doing that.
Can I ask one question? One of the things they talked about was security of parents that aren't supposed to be there and people taking the kids and just someone harm them. Isn't it that possibly they've gotten to a point where they need security guards or something like that in it, people that are trained to deal with these type of people? And even putting up gates is not going to solve that problem, because if somebody is that determined, they're still going to come in. I mean, I can understand as far as that they have concern for that, but I think they need to look at it in a different direction of security and professional people that they pay to watch the kids or to protect them. It's not going to be solved by putting up gates.
Can I speak into that, please? I am a product of Camp Grandview. I grew up going to Camp Grandview. I worked there as a teenager, and now I'm the director there, one of them. And we have security guards in place. We have all kinds of training. We definitely have counselors. I know you heard those things. I don't know if you've ever sent your child anywhere. I have 4 children myself, and when I entrust them to you, I fully expect that you're going to take care of them.
Well, the Girl Scout
to the
camps
best
actually had all this
ability.
stuff.
And the Girl Scouts take care of them too.
Right.
They keep it safe. I don't know if you've ever stood between a parent and a child trying to keep that child out of a car because the parent is insisting that the kid's going in the car. We've done that. We have every measure in place. We abide by every law. We're ACA certified. We do all of those things that you're suggesting that we may not do. I can assure you we do them.
All right, and I appreciate that. Y'all can have that conversation outside. Let's stay on topic first.
Yes, the topic is though, people coming in, that road being open allows just lots of access. As he said, we're happy to open it when it's not in season. However, I just want the public to understand the severity of what could be. It's a matter of time. My own child was almost hit where that hill crests because people are flying over it. There are speed signs. We've talked about the speed tables. But those don't seem to, people don't care. So I just want you to think about your own children and them going out there and that being an issue.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Marion Clayton. I live on Old Grandview Road, and we all appreciate what the Salvation Army does. They do a wonderful job, and they've been great neighbors. But closing a public road is a very serious thing, and it just seems like that there could be like other ways. I think it needs to be discussed between the county, the neighbors, and the Salvation Army a little bit more to see if it can't be done another way rather than permanently closing a public road.
Thank you. And one other hand, but yes, sir.
Sir, William Reagan, I'm relatively new to the area, but I will say that in the 4 months that we've lived here, I've seen 4 roads blocked by trees. Now, I know we've talked about that, and I understand that the bigger concern here is the safety of the children, but I would say that my area of the lake where I live, I can count multiple of the ways that people that would have, unsavory or forthright actions that would, want to get into the camp could certainly do so whether the road is closed or not. And for that matter, if it still is accessible, by us to walk through, what would keep someone who had ill intentions from walking through there as well, if that's the greater issue. Secondly, I would say that, in the time that I've been living there, there's multiple times where 2 vehicles meet each other in the road. One vehicle has to yield either off on a curb or, the roads are not that wide to begin with. If we close one of 3 ways to get back into the end of the lake, we're going to increase the amount of those incursions on other roadways by at least a third by people not being able to use that road. Definitely be able to cause an accident, people not being able to see one another coming over those steep hills, especially right off of Grandview Road. Old Grandview and Lower Grandview, both are very steep, hard to see. So I guess from my perspective is that, the things that we're talking about that haven't been tried, speed tables, for instance, maybe on either side of a posted or marked crosswalk, I think that the county and that what y'all heard from us tonight as the residents, that should be something that should be pursued before just throwing your hands up in the air and saying, we'll just close the road. But thank you for your time.
No problem. Any other comments? We've got 2 minutes. Pros and cons, and we thank you very much for your input. It's good to have the public out to express their opinion, either or on this particular road. I assure you, myself and these other 2 commissioners will take this under advisement. We will talk to the county attorney. Depending on what the outcome is, maybe we need to sit down and meet again with the Salvation Army to see if there's some other solutions we can come to, depending on how the vote turns out. I can't speak to that. We got another 2 minutes. Anybody got anything else to say?
Is this going to come up in your next in the commissioners meeting?
It is. It's not
scheduled.
Not scheduled.
So it'll be at some later date.
Yes.
Thanks.
And it'll be posted to that point. We'll not spring it on somebody as a thing. But go ahead. We've got a work session coming up. Lisa, it'll be May 2nd. A work session at 10 o'clock in the morning on May 2nd. It might come up for further discussion between us. That's when we can meet legally together and talk to the employees there and come up with plans to go further. And hopefully we can possibly meet with them, and maybe they've got some other suggestions that we could do without closing the road. And
Is it open to the public?
Pardon?
Is it open to the public?
Yes, sure is.
And it meets here?
Yes, same room. Bring biscuits if you like.
What do you want on them?
But anyway, I want to thank y'all for coming. Y'all are welcome to stay for the 5:30 commissioners meeting here. We got at 5:30. I want to get on the agenda, but stay if you like. It's really enjoyable to have this many here and have an open discussion. And we're just sitting back here listening. So thank y'all very much. And by the way, for y'all that have to leave, y'all have a happy Easter and be safe. Thank y'all very much.
Happy Easter to you.